right, so I keep getting questions about what the heck is multiband frequency separation, or what we do wavelet decomposition to allow us to have multiple frequencies separated on top of each other. Most of the questions I got was how do I use this and why? So real quick, let's just kind of go over it again, because this is a Freqsep MB Pro, which is our multiband frequency separation action set. And some people said, why would I need this if I have regular frequency separation, etc.? And honestly, you are the only one who can answer that. Like, do you think you'll ever use this? Is it a benefit, etc.? But a couple of things I want to mention. For one, multiband frequency separation or wavelet decomposition in Photoshop is something that's been around for a while that people have done. It's a multi-step process. It's very tedious to do. And people have made plugins that work really well with it. But not everyone has heard of it, which I thought was kind of cool, because I thought to myself when I made these into actions, I said, oh, it's been around for a while. I'm sure someone can get some use for it. But most of the questions I get is, what the hell is this? So let me review it. I'm going to go ahead and run the 3-band one while we talk. Keep in mind, you should be in 16-bit for this. It just helps the processes run a little bit smoother and minimize any chances of, like, the image darkening or lightening or something like that. Even if you start in 8, convert it to 16 first and then run it. So normal frequency separation, as you may have heard about, has a low layer, which if you're familiar, let's go ahead and zoom in to Andrea here. If you're familiar, you have a low layer that you choose a radius for, right? That's normally how we set up frequency separation. Maybe you have an action that you downloaded years ago. Maybe you have a plugin. Maybe you have our old panel. Doesn't matter. This is just the basics of frequency separation. You have a low layer, and then normally you have a high layer, which sort of looks like this. Actually, I see a very wide one, but maybe it looks more like this. Very hard to see on the video, I know, but you have some texture in there like that, right? Okay, that's pretty normal. But what we've done here with multiband or wavelet decomposition is that we have separated it into multiple frequencies. Now, this is not something that's additive. It's not just on top of each other. We didn't just separate this radius and then, this radius and then piled on top another one and then piled on top another one. That would create a huge mess. It would be way over sharpened, really. And it would be a distorted mess because it's just too many frequencies on top of each other. These have all been separated to where these frequencies on this layer, for example, only exist on this layer. These only exist on that layer, and these only exist on that layer. Mathematically, they all combine together to blend over the low. Now, the low blur is I don't know how to put it, but it's like an iterative blur. So the blur keeps compounding over and over and over, which helps create the mathematical alignment for the separation. Now, all that technical just means that you can control areas in between frequencies at the same time without having to run frequency separation multiple times, okay? So, for example, if we look at Andrea's face here, which she has impeccable skin, right? We do see that because I shot it at a slightly higher ISO, we have some noise in there, just a little bit, but her skin has a very tight texture. It's not the razor sharp shot that I'd like, but I was out in a hot summer day in a market downtown Houston. So, or near downtown anyway. So we have that kind of frequency. And then look at the background, the blur. We've got some sensor noise in there, but it's still very low frequency. Then we get down to her dress and we get this tight fabric mesh. And that's slightly tighter frequencies mixed in with sort of highish kind of frequencies in there, right? We have her shoulder here, which we have, again, the tight skin texture. We have some creases that are very low frequency. And then the border right here in her outfit, right there on her skin, that's very high frequency, right? So we have all that accessible to us. And what does that mean? Well, again, that's going to be up to you. Now, even though this shot doesn't need a whole lot, let's say you want to use a higher frequency to make changes to the dress in some way. Maybe there was an issue, you want to fix it. I don't know. I'm going to put I'm going to shrink my brush down because it's too big. Let's shrink this brush down. And then we're going to take this brush, and just to do as kind of a demo, we're going to paint underneath the high fine layer, okay? And yes, you can control sort of the radius, the radii of these frequencies manually, because we do have the Freqsep MB manual ones too. But for now, this default one is, in my opinion, usually works for most images, right? And I'm doing 3-band at the moment because that's probably the one you're going to use the most. So let's talk about what happens real quick, and then I'll talk about some best practices, okay? So I'm going to put it like, well, you know what? I'm going to put it at 100% just so we can kind of see real quick. There we go. Let's say I pick this yellow tone of her outfit and I paint. You see how I'm covering up. Because I'm above this frequency, but below this one, you see how I'm covering up quite a bit of tight texture. Now here's the area I just painted off and on, right? If I move it above the frequencies, then I just get pure pixels because that's exactly what happened. I painted pixels, but here I'm below that texture. If for some reason I painted below, or I choose to move it see that? We get one less, if you will, wider, broader frequency. And I take it even lower, it's even broader. Now it's almost indistinguishable. So if I'm really low here, for some reason, I can paint the overall shape, if you will, of the outfit if I needed to or whatever. I'm painting too hard right now for whatever this is, right? I can do that because I'm protecting all that broad texture. But if I come above, then I'm not protecting that broad texture. Normally, if you run frequency separation, either manually and you choose a smaller radius, you choose the radius on the blurring operator, median in this case. Normally, if you run it really, really tight, and then you go, oh, that's too tight for the dress for what I want it to do. You might just, okay, well, let me just delete that, flatten, or delete the whole frequency separation folder if your action does a folder, and then start over with a different radius. Here, you have options, right? So you can choose. Now, people asked me, first of all, I got an email that said, should I use every single extraction, every single frequency layer? No, it's just a matter of exploring. It's a matter of giving you options, right? That's what I say, just explore. So best practice, for example, let's say you want to make some fine modifications to the skin. Well, let's say you do like a 5% flow and you're painting underneath the highest frequency, right? And so you come here and you start painting and you're working and you're working and you're fixing this. You don't worry about masking. You can mask things later. And you're painting. This is extremely subtle and I know it's hard to see, right? And you're painting and you're painting and you think, well, I mean, yeah, I'm getting the shaping that I want, but I'm destroying the frequencies underneath because I'm painting only underneath the highest. And you think, it's too tight. I want to keep some more reality. Well, you can just take that layer that you've been painting and move it down. And now you've protected the frequency, or move it even more. And now it's protecting, or rather it's above. See that? It's protecting a lot tighter texture. I know it's hard to see. Let's zoom into the shoulder. There it is with the widest one that we have on 3-band. And then we move it up and it gets tighter. Down, wider, up, tighter. All that means not just that you can move the layers around, because you can have as many layers in between as you want, or you don't even have to have layers if you don't want to. You can directly modify each one. So that, even though, like I said, it's messy, I haven't masked it or whatever, it gives you an idea of where this could be useful for you. And let's say I'm going to delete that. Let's say you do want to do some minor, finite detail work. I'm going to put it again like a 5% flow. You want to do some finite detail work and only preserve the tightest of textures. So you're over here just kind of working. I know it's very, very difficult to see because I'm working with such a fine texture, but you want to keep that fine texture of her skin and not preserve too much of it, but be able to modify things by painting pixels wherever you need. Cool. Then you come back to the dress and go, oh, I do want to make changes to the dress. So I go to the wider frequency and then I can come in and paint. I'm going to paint with skin tone so you can see. See, I'm preserving the dress texture, but painting over it. Right? So if I did that with sort of the regular yellow, I can reshape areas. Let's say there was a discolored area on the dress. I can paint it freely and openly with the frequency being protected. Then I can go back to the higher frequency and then work on areas that I need that tight frequency. Now, that's like the sort of basics of how you might use it. Keyword might, because you have to decide after you try it out, is it useful? So let's, for example, run 5-band. Okay, this is going to take a little bit longer because, to be clear, what it's automatically set up to do, and even though resolutions of everyone's images vary, it's set up to use different blurring operators or filters depending on the width of the radius being used. So the really wide radiuses or radii use surface blur. So that's why you saw surface blur just run, because the higher frequencies are that. So now we have 5. We have these 5 frequencies extracted. The image, again, is seamless. And then I have these layers that start by default blank for you to work with them. So if you run 5, let's say every single time, for example, and then you do your work, you may not need every layer. In fact, it's unlikely that you're going to need every single frequency separation layer here, all these different frequencies, but you have them accessible to you so you can make a quick change. So some people have told me, those who are confused, and rightfully so, have asked me that they're, what does this mean? But those who have told me, hey, you know what? I've actually gotten real use just out of 2-band. In fact, somebody told me recently that they used a 2-band manual and they run that and they say they like doing a really tight one, like a 3. Again, it depends on your resolution. They do like a 3 and then do like a 16. And they say, I run this every time And I think someone even told me that they have reprogrammed the action just to have those encoded into it. And that's fine. And then now they have immediate access to high and low frequencies. So again, just to do a demonstration. There we go. So this is the higher frequencies. As you can see, we're not protecting much. And then on the lower frequency, we're protecting a lot of frequency. And he told me that this is what he runs every time now. He's like, I have available to me higher frequencies or lower ones, and it's fantastic for me, and I'm accomplishing so much. And I thought, you know, that's fantastic. And that's why I said that it varies and you need to play with it to see what is going to be best for you. Remember, frequency separation is not just for skin. It's for so many things. You can have a really, really broad frequency, split out. And then this background could be something that you modify. You could add some coloring or some painting or some light effects in there, but you want to preserve the texture maybe. There's no telling what you may do, even in camera blur or on the dress. Or if you look at her pants, it's even a different texture here. Having these multiple frequencies available to you could potentially completely replace normal frequency separation for you. Like the gentleman told me about his 2-band. He's like, I do 2-band now from here on out. It's worked perfectly and it gives me freedom all in one stack. That makes sense. You never actually know what is going to work for you until you start playing with it. Now you might think, well, what about these 7-band ones? We have the manual as well. And then you have these silly 9, 11, and 13-band ones. I call those silly because they start to become a little not very useful. I put them in there more as demonstrations. So don't think to yourself, certainly don't think to yourself that more is somehow better or more advanced, or I'll get to the point where I leverage 13-band at one point and then I'll really have arrived. That's not true. That's not true. You need to get the end results that you need to get however you want to get them. And if you have multiple bands that maybe just simply make things quicker for you because you have multiple frequencies available to you in one stack, let's say it's 3-band, let's say it's 2-band, whatever, who knows what can benefit. Now, the final thing I'll tell you, I don't even know why I ran 3-band. Let's let that finish real quick. A final thing that I can tell you is that sometimes if you don't know and you look at your image and you think, God, I got all kinds of frequencies. I'm not sure where I want to paint and what I want to do. Okay, maybe you run 5. Maybe you run 7. And that'll help you kind of explore. Let's go ahead and run 7. And that'll kind of help you explore where the frequencies are. There's a secondary benefit in having these multi-band stacks, apart from just being able to modify what you want to modify by painting pixels in between frequencies. The other benefit is that you start to understand what these different radii do on your image, right? Especially if you run the manual one, you start getting a feel for that, right? We have manual all the way up to 7, so you can play around with that and choose different frequencies. So here, like I said, for example, on 7, here's the real tight one. We'll go ahead and just paint a general medium skin tone here, okay? Here's the real tight one. You can see we have, well, you can probably not see much of that, but there's a little bit of detail in here and her teeth and her nose. And then if you move it down a frequency, you see more, you move it down, you see more, you move it down, you see more, down, you see more, down and down. And you preserve broader and broader and broader textures. And who knows, not only will that give you ultimate control while you're editing your shot to get the results you want by painting certain areas, but you can also learn and kind of get a vision for what wider frequencies do. Because a lot of people have told me over the years, even on quote, normal frequency separation, they say, hey, I just run an action until the texture is slightly gone. That's where I set median, until the texture barely goes away. And then I run with that. And that's what a lot of people were taught early on. And I get that, but there's so many different things that you can do with multiple frequencies, not just at once, but one after another. Multiband gives you not only the ability to have everything in one stack to access different frequencies, depending on where you want to paint and what you want to try to modify. Okay. And not only does it teach you a little bit about how that stuff might look to kind of train your eye, you can also modify these bands directly, which is a whole different discussion. What I mean by the bands is the actual frequencies themselves can be modified in different ways. And that can lead to kind of sharpening and kind of a negative sharpening, which is what we have in NBP Ultra Sharp. It's a variation of this stack with different ways to control these frequencies, allowing for different sort of tonal changes. That's what a lot of people do with wavelet decomposition when it comes to like landscapes or nature shots or architectural. It's really good for that to just kind of refine multiple frequencies in that without necessarily fixing things. We just sharpen and we reduce sharpening, etc. There are so many things you can do with multi-band frequency separation. And I know it's confusing or it can be confusing, but I recommend that you try at the very least, run the 3-band one and see how your edits go. When you're painting in between layers, see how your edits go, see how your healing goes in between layers and get a feel for it. It's not as difficult as it sounds, but keep in mind that if you're having great success with regular frequency separation, something like 2-band or 3-band could just make things faster for you. They may not get you a different result in terms of your quality, but they might make things faster because you have the ability to have multiple frequencies available at the same time.